Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're live. First of all, I would like to welcome you all here tonight to tonight's Town of Lake Cowichan meeting of council. It's to be held and transmitted electronically via the council chambers, which are located at 39 South Shore Road, Lake Cowichan, BC. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge with gratitude our gathering on the traditional ancestral lands of the Subasset people, who have stewarded these lands for millennia, and we thank them. So looking for introduction of late items, I do have one under business arising and unfinished business. If you'll add FCM attendance, we can deal with that discussion at that time. Anything from other fellow councilors? Staff? Nothing there. Looking for approval of agenda as amended. Councillor Austin, seconded by Councillor Bomaka. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. Public input. So here's the opportunity for the public to have input on tonight's agenda items. You have 3 minutes. If you could come to the podium, just state your name and what topic you are wishing to have public input on. Mr. Garrett. Oh, I've already stated your name. Thank you. Anyone else to the podium? Please, at your leisure. Just state your name and what topic you wish to speak to. Just don't call me your worship. Do not do that. Thank you. Each person has 3 minutes, so just state your name if you would. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just leave them here. We'll hand them out. Appreciate that. And I notice that there is life after politics, so I look forward to that at some point. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to have public input on this item or any other item on the agenda? And noting the interest in this topic, after business arising, with your indulgence, I think perhaps we should move that topic of the doctors up right after delegations and representations, if that's okay with staff and council, if we move that forward. As the chairperson, I believe I have the authority to do that under Robert's rules. So we'll move the doctor discussion after our unfinished business. So looking at adoption of minutes, we have minutes of the regular meeting of council held on December 17th. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? Looking for a mover. Councillor Frisbee, seconded by Councillor Austin. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And just to note that Councillor Sandu is absent tonight with leave on family sabbatical. So under unfinished business, we have FCM attendance. Under a previous resolution, we had appointed Councillor Austin and myself to attend the Federation of Canadian Municipality in Ottawa. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend, so I have reached out to my fellow councillors to see if anyone would like to attend in my absence, and Councillor Volmaka has gauged an interest in this, so I'm looking for a resolution to change those representations. Moved by Councillor Austin, seconded by Councillor Frisbee. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any? You're not opposed, are you? That motion carries. Thank you. So we have moved up the doctor issue to the forefront here. And I just want to start off by acknowledging the physician that we have in the audience tonight, and thank Dr. Froese for his service, and knowing that it's time to move on and have a work-life balance. We understand that. We have had numerous outreach by not only media, but by other entities. Carla Bortoletto from the Cowichan Physicians. I've had a phone call from the Minister of Health, Minister Osborne, on the topic. Being a small town mayor, she knows the struggles of trying to entice physicians, etc. We're very fortunate to have 1.7, I don't know how you have 0.7, but 1.7 nurse practitioners. And perhaps the answer is to look at if we can accommodate more nurse practitioners in the interim as we seek permanent family physicians to relocate or to be placed within our community. We're looking outside of the box, so to speak, but today is just a discussion on next steps forward, whether it's implementing a meeting with the health minister, meeting with Vancouver Island Health Authority, Island Health, other entities. We looked at the model of Colwood, and unfortunately, with our tax base of 87% residential property, we don't feel that that is an avenue that we could accommodate on our tax base. But there are other ideas out there. Cumberland has done significant work on attracting physicians, upwards to 7 physicians that they have allocated within their communities. But as you stated, one of the problems is housing, childcare, and especially for female physicians who wish to start a family, who may not be able to get medical leave or maternity leave to start that family. Many physicians don't want to work 60 to 70 hours as current physicians may do. So there has to be a work-life balance. And we know that the current operator of the clinic is doing all they can to entice new recruits to our community. But I'm looking for ideas from my council as to what the next steps would be. So just be reassured that we are doing everything within our power, within what we have within our toolbox, to try to entice family physicians to our area. In every interview I have had, which started 3 days ago with the Czech News one, and everyone else picked them up. I don't know why they can't copy and paste, but they want their own input. At every one I have suggested that we have lacked in the West Cowichan area for urgent and primary care services. That's only one avenue that could be accommodated to help the aged population which reside in the West Cowichan area. 6,550 people reside in West Cowichan, whether it's in Lake Cowichan, Missachi Lake, Honeymoon Bay and Points, Missachi, Yubo, and of the population demographics in the town of Lake Cowichan, over 60% are 50 plus. So we are an aged community, not as aged as Parksville, but we are aged. So I will turn to other councillors and see if you have input on this topic.
Well, we do have primary health care here. We have 2 nurse practitioners that are pretty well flat out all the time working. We are meeting with Carla on Friday, I believe, and hopefully we can get some more ideas to get people here. I'm feeling good about it this time because you already reached out. Somebody reached out, a headhunter reached out to say that they are available to help as well. So we just have to encourage people. It's a beautiful place to live, and housing's gone down a wee bit lately, I think. So let's hope we can get someone. I know we all need it. There's lots of people here in need.
Thank you. Councillor Vomaka, anything to add?
Well, it was just a comment that I was glad that you were saying that. I always thought it was the province's responsibility. And I know Prince Rupert, they lost all 7 doctors. And so I'm going, is that the only way you can get them to your community is to attract them? And when you attract them, you're taking them from someone else's community. And I'm wondering if the problem is that there's just not as many doctors practicing to be family physicians, and they're all specializing, and they're just not coming to small communities. I don't know what your input is of what you've seen.
Okay, we'll wait for question period for that answer. Councillor Frisbee, anything on your end?
Yeah, I think it's, I just want to thank staff and Mayor McGonigal for engaging the media, because ever since it's hit the media, we've got people coming to us now. So that's a difference where people are approaching us and it's getting that exposure. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of people reaching out as well as us, looking for solutions as well. So we are looking at multiple options, and people are reaching out to us. So it's really kicked us into gear, and that media exposure's helped a lot.
Perfect. And next steps, I would like to see us reach out to Minister Osborne and have a meeting as soon as possible with the Health Ministry, with some ideas that have come forward after our meeting with Carla Bortoletto and that group. As you say, we have had correspondence from headhunters, so to speak, people who place physicians in other communities. But that is a funding that would come from the town to do that process. I think given the representation of the group here today, that could be another alternative, perhaps a meeting with them. So I would move that we reach out to the Minister of Health to engage a discussion on possible solutions, whether it be more nurse practitioners in the interim, and why Lake Cowichan doesn't fit within the rural community incentives for placement for physicians is beyond me. We are rural, but we're 20 minutes from Duncan. I guess that means we're not rural. But I mean, I think that's another alternative that is afforded to other communities. Why could that not be an enticement for placement of physicians within our community? So I would move that we ask for a meeting with the health minister, and if there's a seconded by Councillor Austin. Discussion on that. Councillor Prisby.
Just for funding purposes and budgetary purposes, just through a Director of Finance, is there any money left in the COVID relief fund that could be used for something like this? Okay. Yeah, because if there's money left in that, that's something that we could use. I think last time it was 100 and something thousand we had in there, so that could be used for some of these purposes. So, yeah.
Nope, good answer. So there's a motion on the floor, duly debated, moved and seconded. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Thank you very much. And in the interim, I want to encourage everyone to reach out to the MLA, your MP, Island Health, and any other agency that you feel you could advocate to on the need for some solutions to a much needed problem. Personally, I lost my physician. I didn't lose him. He didn't. He stopped taking me on about 15 years ago, and I had to look for an alternate. The closest I could get was Cobble Hill. Fortunately, I'm still able to drive and able to get there, but my concern is with the aged population and some elderly people with multiple health needs that may not drive. There may be a need for a driving service, for instance, if they do find a physician. So that could be another discussion that we have moving forward. I know there is some vehicles that are utilized for cancer patients to transport to their appointments, but not everyone has that option, and maybe that's another avenue that we could investigate. So I just want to reassure you that this is on the top burner of our discussions, and we're doing lots in the background. It's not like we are the government that takes care of health, but we are concerned about the health of our community. So we'll continue to advocate to do anything within our part, and we'll reach out to whoever is willing to listen to us. I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel. I think there's a wheel out there that we can just replace our flat tire with, for instance. So moving on, we're going to go forward, and we're going to ask for the health minister's ear and look for solutions that have come forward from Cumberland and other areas on what that approach was. I know housing is a concern, and the vacancy rate in the town of Lake Cowichan is not very high. But with new developments coming on that could perhaps incorporate essential services, that could be an avenue. Instead of densification bonuses, we could look at options on essential housing bonuses, for instance. There's innovative ideas that we can think of, but they're not in place at the moment. So moving forward, we will do everything in our power and in our toolbox to entice not only doctors, but in the interim, perhaps more nurse practitioners to take some of the strain off that system. Because with 1.7 and a long wait list of people to get on that, that could be an interim answer. And where they reside or where they practice from could be discussed. I have a call coming in later tonight on some innovative ideas, and I'll be sharing them with council moving forward. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we're working as hard as we can on this. Thank you. Anything else, councillors, on this? You're more than welcome to stay and ask questions at the end, but I thought with the interest of the public here tonight that we would get that out of the way. If you do need to leave, don't feel we will be held against you. We know that people are busy, and it's probably dinner time, isn't it? Yeah. But thank you very much for coming, and we'll continue with our agenda. I'll just take a pause while those who have to leave can. Thank you. Was it something I said? Yeah, I think it was. Anyways, appreciate your attentiveness on that topic. We have correspondence. We have an action item from the CBRD, the chair of the CBRD on the regional growth strategy development. Mr. Fernandez? So we need a resolution to that effect for the town's representation to be our contract planner. Do I have a mover of that? Moved by Councillor Bomaka, seconded by Councillor Austin. Discussion on that? This is a working group of staff that are going to move forward on a regional growth strategy for the Cowichan Valley Regional District, which encompasses the 9 electoral areas and the municipalities. It is funded through a grant through the province, and from that will come ideas on how to move the strategic plan or the regional growth strategy forward. The Cowichan Valley Regional District is one of the few regional districts in BC that does not have a regional growth strategy, and that could encompass problems in the future getting grants for growth studies, for incorporation studies, et cetera, which are currently occurring in the south end. So I think it's important that we at least have someone at the table to have our voice heard. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And there's also a information item that I believe we have dealt with, but it's brought forward as moving forward from the last council meeting. In the interim, we did some investigation, and there was a Union of BC Municipalities resolution on this topic. I think we're just waiting for an answer from the province on that resolution. I don't believe there was an answer. Yes, so we're waiting on the answer on that resolution. In the interim, a lot of commercial properties are facing this, not only in our community, but throughout the province, and they're finding it difficult to stay in business with those increases. So we'll keep that on the burner. I think we should respond to the writer of this letter stating that we have investigated and point them towards that resolution. So with your direction, we can do that. Moved by Councillor Bomaka, seconded by Councillor Austin. Just a response, whether it be email or whatever, that we have investigated with the appropriate resolution. Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. We have committee of the whole minutes. Councillor Frisbee, if you would.
Yeah, I'd like to move the following minutes for approval from the committee of the whole meeting. the committee recommended the approval of an increase of water parcel tax by $50 for annual tax of $350 and an increase of the sewer parcel tax by $75 for an annual tax of $325. Councillor Austin requested that a letter be sent to the Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs and Ravi Palmer at the Ministry of Forests to get an update on the AB Greenwell property. Staff were directed to draft letters for review by council at the planning session. We received a report from the Superintendent of Public Works that will likely need a BNR sewage plant that will cost the community in excess of $30 million. We also appointed some advisory planning commission members for the next 2 years, starting January 1st, 2025, of Duncan Brown, Carmen Cozens, William Garrett, Vicky Paws, and Stephanie Harper. We also directed staff to send a thank you letter for the outgoing member, Bev Lissa, for all her contributions to the community. We also approved a leave of absence for Councillor Sandhu. And that is all.
Thank you. You're moving that. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Pomaka. Discussion on those items? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Cowichan Lake Recreation, unfortunately, Councillor Sandhu isn't here. She's the only one that could represent us yesterday with the media attention of the topic we just discussed and my inability to attend. Councillor Frisbee was detained for personal reasons, and I will await an update on Councillor Sandhu's return, if that's okay with everyone here. Vancouver Island Regional Library is next. Councillor Pomaka, anything?
I note the term just started, and I have yet to hear anything of a meeting for the library board.
Thank you very much. Advisory Planning Commission. Councillor Sandhu is the representative there. When is the next APC? This coming Thursday, and the alternate will have to attend. So I will look at the alternate list and probably be here Thursday. Thank you. Community Forest Co-op, nothing to report there, except there was the annual thank you dinner at Honeymoon Bay Retreat. Just a thank you for all the volunteer directors for the work that they have put in for the Community Forest Co-op and Kalayat. I will have a report later after the AGM, which is upcoming. Cowichan Valley Regional District meeting. I'll put meetings. Right in the middle of budget discussions, there's a finalization coming forward early in February. Just to finalize the budget, there's been considerable work to try to incorporate savings within the budget process. Our significant increases locally are on the recreation side as we've moved to a regional recreation model of 9 facilities throughout the Cowichan Valley Regional District and a shift to user-based funding. There will be a review of that funding model in short time, but the shift in taxation has seen a significant increase in some areas and a significant decrease in other areas. So with that in mind, we looked at how we could negate some of the supplemental requests within the regional district, and there was a number brought forward that were endorsed by the board and a number that were not. So in the end, we're waiting for the final percentages or the final number of dollars per 100,000 that will accommodate the regional district's portion of our taxation. Councillor Frisbee just mentioned an increase in both of the parcel taxes and also mentioned the cost of a updated sewer treatment plant standalone facility of over $30 million. So that was the rationale of the increase on parcel taxes. That is also looked at throughout the regional district for any services that they have, and accommodating a reserve fund for any facilities that need updating. We're looking at 9 aged facilities that will need help. Under the regional recreation model, any capital increases are borne by the residents within the community that support that facility. So the regional recreation model does not pay for capital projects within Cowichan Lake Recreation Facility, within Cowichan Aquatic Center, but it does pay for ongoing maintenance, whether that be a roof or other options to keep the facility running appropriately. And with that, I'm not sure if I have informed people that I was acclaimed as vice chair of the Cowichan Valley Regional District. Nobody else wanted it, so another hat to wear. And with that, I will just move my verbal report. Seconder? Seconded by Councillor Vomaka. Questions? I'm getting off easy tonight. Thank you. Community Outreach Team, Councillor Austin.
Thank you. I attend the community outreach team meetings at Community Services. They're very informative meetings with lots of different people involved, Cowichan Lake Recreation, Island Health. One of our public health nurses was also there to tell us what's going on, and the librarian, the local librarian. They have a new family development therapist at the Community Services for children and for adults. The Christmas Hamper Program provided 175 plus some extras for late applicants. It was a pleasure working there, helping with that. They do a great job every year. It's very well organized. There's quite a few different other things going on. There's counseling and Reaching Home and Work BC. Cameron handles the Reaching Home, and that is where they have the community luncheons Monday and Thursday, 12 till 2 at the Lake Cowichan Christian Fellowship Church. It's free. The Refresh Market is Monday and Wednesday, usually starts at 11. Usually Monday is for seniors and Wednesday is for others. They have a laundry day, also anybody that needs laundry, people that are in need of that type of thing. And there's a community cupboard with clothing and things like that. I did send these minutes off to everybody, so I won't read them all, but there's a lot of great people in our community doing a lot of great work. We do have an outreach team of health nurses that drive around in a big van helping people. Kim is on her own at the moment, but she's hoping to get Jen Dunn to come back and help. And they come and check on any of the people that are living on the street or having issues with housing. And they give in vaccines and things like that, whatever they need, and some health information. So Community Services does a lot of great things. If anybody needs to know what they do, please feel free to stop by and question them. And they do have volunteers there to help as well with other things. So I enjoy going to that meeting. It's one of the great positive meetings of my month.
Great, and my apologies, there's no need to move a verbal report. I'm moving through the different entities that I work with. Some do, some don't, so that was the reason I did. I must have been in another place. I was hoping Jamaica, but it wasn't. Thank you very much for that. Looking for our Cowichan. I have just been placed as the representative for that and have yet to have any correspondence on a next meeting. I will look through my emails and ensure that there's one coming. I will do my utmost to attend. Cowichan Watershed Board, the representative is not here tonight. Otaki Twinning, Councillor Austin, anything there?
Thank you. The next Otaki delegation meeting is Monday at 6 at Country Grocer. They have some current events. This is something that's been going for, 37 years now, I believe, where we are, I think, the longest group that is twinned with a community in Japan. So Thursday, next week, is the Burger and Beer event, 50/50 ticket sales, silent auction at the Riverside Inn starting at 5. Cost is $30. It's kind of a fun event to go to, and there's usually lots of good things in the silent auction. Saturday, February 22nd, they're having a 1980s dance with 5 whiskeys deep at Centennial Hall. There will be prizes for costumes. I didn't realize there were a lot of costumes in the 80s, but we'll see how that works out. Tickets are through Eventbrite at $27.96. On January 11th, they had a successful bottle drive at LCS, and on January 17th, a bake sale. This group is doing an amazing job of fundraising for their trip. They're going in July of 2025, and they'll be impressive ambassadors for our community. I'm certain they'll be an inspiration to those students who choose to travel to Otaki in 2026. We'll have another group going then. We already have 2 or 3 students named. They're also working closely with our knowledgeable executive secretary regarding travel plans and pertinent information. It's a really great group.
And just verifying that Councillor Frisbee will be the representative of the town on that delegation and the leader of the delegation. I'm not sure how Japanese will sound with a New Zealand accent, but I'm waiting to hear it. With that, thank you. Moving on to staff reports, we have bylaws, the Town of Lake Cowichan Development Approval Procedures and Notifications Amendment Bylaw number 1109-2024 may be reconsidered and adopted. Mr. Fernandez. So those have been implemented in the bylaw. So the digital signage is being implemented for messaging on the outside window by facing the post office. Correct. I did see the wiring in there, so I seen that I saw the wiring being put in place and heard the drilling at that one day. So nice to see that that is being accommodated. I need approval from council. Moved by Councilor Womacka to reconsider and adopt, seconded by Councilor Frisbee. Any further discussion? Councilor Womacka.
I was going to say, just thank you for all the, whining coming from me for years about the notification project. So I'm absolutely thrilled to see that we at least are trying everything we can to reach out to people to let them know about the rezoning in their areas. Thank you.
Or other topics, not just that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And under new business, we have updated Cowichan Region Workforce Housing Strategy. Anything on that, Mr. Fernandez? Discussion on this one? Do you need endorsement on this? It's just an information item. Great, thank you very much. Anything else? Looking, no mayor's report this month. Oh, Councillor Womacka.
Are we going back to loss of physicians? Or no, we've
We moved that up,
We've done
but
it.
if you have something to add, please feel free. No? Who's your doctor? Never mind. I didn't see any notice of motion at the beginning. Is there any now? So we'll go to question period. And this is an opportunity for questions on anything that is on the agenda tonight. Off-site, if you're watching online intently, the phone number is 250-749-3929. In-person attendees, again, if you could just state your name You have a maximum of 3 minutes for anything on the agenda tonight for a question. Anyone move forward? Sir. I will turn to staff whether or not that is appropriate for privacy reasons, but it's a numbered company, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So if you reach out to staff, you can get that information you requested. Anyone further in the audience, please? Well, it looks good with you up there at the podium, that's why. Absolutely appreciate that. And please don't feel bad about your need to move on. You have served this community with admiration throughout your career, and it's time to move on. One thing I will say is that at every opportunity of my media bombardment, I have praised the accolades of the current nurse practitioners, whether it makes the cutting room floor or that. But I have never thought about an increase in nurse practitioners to take that on until tonight. So seeing that there's a significant wait list for the current nurse practitioners that we have, who again, I will say publicly, have done a remarkable job in attending to the medical needs of our community. There is a need for more, even if we do have a physician or two. I am currently on the interview committee for UBC medical students who are applying. And one of the questions I think I need to ask is, are you interested in family medicine? When we see graduates coming out and perhaps looking at specialties, I think that takes away from the healthcare system of a family practice. And I understand the business model currently for running a family clinic is exponentially expensive. So with incentives from the province on perhaps some grants or some way to incorporate collaborative approaches on lessening those overhead costs, or whether it's placing not only doctors within a clinic, but a significant number of nurse practitioners to work alongside them, may be an innovative answer. But in that review or interview process, I will be asking if there is any consideration of going into family practice for sure. I don't have the last say on who attends the school, but as an interviewer who I was advised that I was chosen 3 months ago prior to this announcement, I think the timing could not be better. So thank you very much for your service, Dr. Froese. We appreciate all that you have given to our community for years. Thank you very much. Thank you. No need to apologize. No need to apologize. Unfortunately, I'm not photogenic enough to get more than 16 seconds per media review. I have Councillor Frisbee would like to say something.
Yeah, just a question, because we have been asked by a lot of, or we've been approached by headhunters. I know that Creston, BC employed a headhunter to go out and try and find local doctors or Canadian doctors. So, I mean, you and I know what an awesome community it is. Are you aware of any opportunities where we can try and get the word out to make sure that doctors are aware of this opportunity? Like, what other links can we go to try and make people aware that this opportunity is there? And what links have you gone to get the word out? Just to follow up. Mr. Chair.
Follow up, please.
So let's say, is there a universe, like if we found a doctor tomorrow that they could take over your practice? Like, is there something, I know that we've got a timeline of June when things are wrapping up. Is there any possibility that we can find a doctor to take over your practice with the existing patients and the existing lease? Or is it pretty much that's the end date of that and there'll be a new practice started up if we can find a local doctor, another doctor?
Yes, we did reach out and ask about the Colwood model where the doctor is under the employment of the town. They bill the province for the patient visits, et cetera. The doctor has all the rights of an employee of a municipality. I believe the building was a medical clinic that was taken over either by the province and then afforded to Colwood as a building. I'm not positive on that, so don't quote me, but I think one of the answers could be, and I'm just thinking outside of the box, is a provincially built and owned facility that houses doctors and / nurse practitioners for a full spectrum of health needs, where you don't have to worry about running a business. It is operated through the health authority, similar to the health unit, for instance, or why a physician perhaps could not reside within the health unit. I know they're very confined for space there, but that model of incorporating a physician within that service model could work if there was something to be built like that. So all ideas, and the current facility is not appropriate. I understand that. Councillor Austin has something to add.
Yeah, I volunteer at the health unit, and there really aren't any rooms available right now. We have a nurse that works with people for foot care and that type of thing. We have the 2 public health nurses. We do baby clinics, 2 nurse practitioners, but nurse practitioners don't work on Friday. That's kind of a day where the place is actually closed. So if they could find a nurse practitioner to come in for that one day, that would help. Stephanie and Heidi are pretty full. They work in the evenings too to get people who work, in the daytime. I only go there a couple of times a month, and it's just hopping the whole time. There's people coming and going. And then they have the COVID clinics. They're doing 1 per month now instead of every Friday, because that's what they were doing for a while. Now they're one per month. So, and again, if you could get nurse practitioners even to come in the practice that you have, I don't know if that would work well enough for that. I think there's one that I know of that owns her own practice in Duncan, whether she could be coerced to coming out here type 1 day a week. I don't know. I'll find out because we actually know the family. So, but they do very well. They do a lot of great work. I'm really pleased with them. It's really good to have them here.
And I understand that that model wouldn't work in the current facility, but I'm thinking in the future if that was a model that could help rural communities to incorporate primary care in one facility. You have your vaccines, you have your foot care, you have your physiotherapy, you have your chiropractic or whatever else you need with a physician that resides within there who doesn't have to have a standalone building and the overhead that encompasses. That was the rationale behind that. And again, we're trying to think of any innovative ideas. With that, I will see if there's any other questions. I have a first time one there, and now I'll come back to you. Oh, appreciate.
There must be programs out there. There must be some kind of funding. The federal government can help the postal Canada Post right now with the numbers of what we've heard. They step up and they help out Air Canada and WestJet and whoever else when they're having a hard time. There must be a way. There's got to be a way.
And rest assured, we'll be looking at all possibilities, whether they're feasible or not, and incorporate the return on investment, not only to our community, but to the health of our community. So we're looking for any innovative solutions. And like I said before, I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel. There's ideas out there that have worked. And this isn't the first time that we have faced this dilemma. About 15 years ago, we were looking for physicians to return to the community, and a committee was struck, worked collaboratively with all agencies and entities, and were successful in the placement of the current clinic. So there is options. One of the ideas was international doctors that may be able to be placed here. The problem there is you need an established physician within the community to sponsor that physician. And by June, we will have no established physicians here. But if there's an option for perhaps the sponsorship to reside within a nurse practitioner who is also in the healthcare system, that could be an innovative answer for people who are already competent, already trained, and just need the uptake of the Canadian health system. So again, we're looking at any option we can, okay? Thank you. And I know that there are people who have called and who have interviewed who will be watching this either now or in the future, who will hear all the discussion and the ideas that are being looked at tonight. And I'm sure we'll be reaching out to myself and council on if any of those are feasible. And these are just ideas at the moment, but they're all we have at the moment. So thank you. Again, Mr. Garrett. Thank you for that. I'll go to Councillor Austin first. Councillor Austin.
Yeah, I was actually at the physiotherapist the other day, and he mentioned that they could have up to six doctors in there. There's lots of room. Mind you, it's fairly expensive, but if they shared it, a share type thing, 6 or 7, he said you could have, I think, 7 even. So it's there waiting, it's empty. And I used to work for Dr. Morrow. I don't know if Dr. Froese remembers Dr. Morrow, 100 years ago now. And he wanted to have a building, and it was going to be where Evergreen is now, which had everything in it, because when I first started there, they actually had an x-ray machine in our office. They stitched people up. They did all sorts of great stuff. We had our little surgery and everything. And he wanted to have everything in there, and our physiotherapy, all that stuff. And it just never came to fruition. So, I mean, it was a dream, but that's what we need here. And my granddaughter lives in Mackenzie, and they have 8 doctors there. Now, you know how far away Mackenzie is. And I talked to their mayor, and they have like a cooperative system. Someone owns the building and manages it, and they come and go. So nobody in Mackenzie, and they're about the same population as us, goes without a doctor. So it can be done. And I think they were trying to do something like that in Duncan. When you go to the Cowichan meeting, you'll meet that one doctor. I forgot his name now. They're trying to do something like that in Duncan, where they would have a bit of a cooperative. Yes, Saunders, Dr. Saunders, that's right. So I don't know if he's done that or not, but anyway.
I believe he's working with a group who had public input this evening. Yeah.
Was he? Okay.
Councillor Frisbee? All good. So with that healthy discussion, I'm looking to my colleagues if there's anything else. I want to thank you for attending tonight and for your input. And if we do have any further questions, Dr. Froese, we can certainly reach out, I hope, and you will answer us outside of your work hours, I'm sure. But again, I wish you all the best and thank you again for your service. Thank you. Looking for adjournment, please, or motion to go in camera under Section 92 of the Community Charter requires that before a meeting or part of a meeting is closed to the public, council must state by resolution that the meeting is to be closed, and B, the basis of which the meeting is to be closed falls under the following sections of the Community Charter. And that's Section 90, 1D, which is the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements. Do I have a mover to go on camera? Moved by Councillor Vomaca, seconded by Councillor Austin. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. So we will take a short break and then move to in camera.